Conor McGregor was not able to make it past the second round versus Dustin Poirier. The former two-division UFC champion ate a collection of kicks and strikes from Dustin, resulting in a TKO loss. Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor seemed to be fairly evenly matched. The first round was very active. Both fighters came forward and started trading shots. We got to see a few shoulder strikes from both fighters in the clinch. Conor and Dustin landed some really good shots on each other. They were both very accurate and vicious with their strikes. But overall, you would have to give the first round to Conor, as he set the tempo of the fight and landed some key shots on Dustin, giving Conor the slight edge. But still, at this point, it's anyone's fight, and Dustin knows he has to step it up. In round 2, the pace of the fight continued, with both fighters practically running out of their corners. Conor was putting a lot of pressure on Dustin, almost walking him down. But Dustin stayed calm and composed because he's been in this position before, and he continued to land strikes. Both fighters landed some vicious kicks in the second round, and we also got to see some very exciting boxing exchanges. Dustin Poirier showcased he has some of the best hands in the UFC, as he began to outbox Conor McGregor, and it seemed like Dustin Poirier's strikes were just doing more damage. Conor McGregor got dropped at 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the second round, and Dustin went in for the kill, and that's all she wrote. After the fight, in his post-fight interview, Conor McGregor said he was gutted by this loss.
I'm gutted, man, John. To be honest, I'm gutted. I put so much work in.
What's next for Conor McGregor? Who does he fight next? What does he do? Now, of course, the most obvious thing would be to go ahead and rematch Dustin Poirier and settle their trilogy fight. Of course, Dustin Poirier beat him once, and Conor McGregor beat him once as well. Or he could go on and fight Nate Diaz and settle that trilogy. Or maybe he rides off into the sunset. Seriously this time. I mean, retirement is always an option for him. But if you're Conor McGregor right now, you have to be devastated. This is a big loss for Conor McGregor's career. This makes him less of a pay-per-view draw. But I want to know, what did you think of the fight? How did you think Conor McGregor performed? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, how much money did Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier make for UFC 257? Poirier has a disclosed purse of $1 million, already the biggest payday of his career, plus a revenue share of each pay-per-view. Dustin Poirier's pay-per-view percentage isn't expected to be that much. However, it's still a lot of money. Conor McGregor, meanwhile, has a disclosed purse of $5 million, plus a share of the pay-per-view. Conor McGregor's share will no doubt be a lot higher than his opponent's, and the revenue he will generate from the pay-per-view shares will end up putting him at right around $20 to $25 million. Now, while I was watching UFC 257, I was kind of strolling through Twitter, and I've seen some pretty funny UFC memes, but you guys have definitely stepped it up. Here's a compilation of the funniest UFC 257 memes I was able to find. Here are the results for the other fights that happened at UFC 257. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please remember, if you haven't done so already, that you are subscribed to the channel, like the video as well, and check out some more of our videos. We upload videos every single day. Follow me on Twitter. I will leave a link to that down in the description below. And we also post content on Facebook. So if you want to check that out, there will also be a link to that in the description below. And that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is the MMA Connect. Peace out, guys. And really quickly, I just want to add, I've been seeing a lot of growth on the channel lately. So if you are someone who tunes in and watches every video and likes and comments, I really appreciate you. I couldn't thank you enough. The fact that you guys take the time out of your day to click and watch the videos, you guys are the true MVPs. But seriously, this time, guys, it's about 4:30 in the morning as I'm recording this. So show me some love. Definitely drop a like for me. All right, seriously, peace out this time. So Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. actually did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, which would make it one of the most successful events of the year of 2020. Another pay-per-view that did really well was UFC 251, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, which did a reported 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. Now, this is obviously some really good news because each pay-per-view was $49.95, so Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. was a huge success. In Mike Tyson's prime, he would also do right around a million pay-per-view buys. I mean, that was pretty normal for Mike Tyson. And still, till this day, as old as he is, he's still doing a million pay-per-view buys. I mean, if he wants, he could do a couple fights. He could make a lot of money if he wants to go on and fight someone else. Maybe he has a handful of fights left. At 1 million pay-per-view buys, a fight, Tyson could be a rich, rich man once again. Of course, there was a lot of other names on the card. One of the names being Jake Paul. He's also a huge star. He brings a lot of eyeballs. I'm not sure how many of the pay-per-views he sold, but you best believe he also helped Tyson sell some pay-per-views. So let's just think about this for a second. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, one of the biggest boxing matches in 2020. They sold about 700, 800,000 pay-per-views. Then you have Mike Tyson, someone who hasn't fought in forever. Comes in, steps in versus Roy Jones Jr., who's also hasn't fought in forever. And they do 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, which is co-main event by a YouTuber, Jake Paul. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I think Mike Tyson is going to fight again. I mean, he can always do a trilogy fight with Evander Holyfield. There's still a few other people I'm sure he could arrange. I would like to see him fight people, if he's going to continue to fight, people in his age range. Roy Jones Jr. was perfect. He was a little bit younger than Mike Tyson, I believe. I believe Tyson's a little bit older. It could be the other way around, but they're right around the same age. So I think if Tyson can arrange to do that, at least fight people around his age, I think a lot of people will pay money to see Tyson fight. I mean, it's a spectacle. It really is.